I told the guys, we're headed up. We're on our way up. So there's a lot of positives to take from this.
Yes, there sure is. The Washington football team's first season under head coach Ron Rivera has come to an end with the disappointing yet encouraging, inspiring, hopeful loss to Tom Brady and the Bucs in a wild card game that, let's be honest, none of us really thought that we would be there. But as coach said, we are on our way up. I just keep singing all the way up. I'm Jade Kenny, and joining me as always is Stephanie Joking and Janine Samuels. And this is The Wow, brought to you by Fresh Fine Wine. It was a tough loss, but man, it was fun.
Yeah, fun to watch. Literally kept us in suspense the entire game. Obviously didn't get the end result that we hoped for, but like you said, very, very hopeful. Also, coming up later on our Wow home field, we sat down with Washington football team president Jason Wright. We checked in with him mid-season, and it is such an amazing interview. We've been holding it tight, holding on to it. And we just thought, why not now? Why not go ahead and share that interview with you now that the season is over? Because it really is inspiring.
Yeah, he's definitely been a difference maker here in Washington, and he's just got such a great sense of humor. So definitely hang around for that one. But let's get into this game. And more importantly, where does Washington go from here? I don't know about y'all, but I was pretty close in the third quarter to order myself a Taylor Heineke jersey. I was like, add to cart.
Right, I wanted to stand next to Chase when he was pointing at his name and just point to and just yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I think we all felt that way, right? I mean, literally, this was only his second pro start, his first in the playoffs. He literally just signed with us in December to the practice squad, guys, to be the quarantine quarterback. He was at ODU taking classes at the time. And so it just was amazing. He had a great game. He threw for 306 yards and a score, and he ran for 46 yards and that touchdown that Stephanie just mentioned. I absolutely loved it. 8 yards. He literally dove to hit the pylon in the corner of the end zone, got the touchdown for us. And it caught the attention of literally everybody. I don't know if you all saw the tweet from Patrick Mahomes, but he was like, bro, what? Question mark, exclamation mark, question mark, exclamation mark. So it really got a lot of attention across the entire league.
Yes, we don't want him to get too much attention, though. We want to keep him for ourselves, like our little secret weapon. So everybody back off a little bit.
Yeah, he was definitely a fun one to watch, and I just found myself trusting when he was on the field. Like it's been a roller coaster of a season. Like we said, we all didn't think we would end up in the playoffs. I mean, Coach Ron Rivera did, but we didn't the whole time. And I just found myself really trusting when the offense was out there, and that's not something we can say for the whole season. So it was just, you found yourself rooting for him. Like I just wanted him to do well. I just loved how his decision making. I loved how quick he moved through his progressions, and he just has that swagger that you look for in a quarterback. So he was a fun one to watch. I was definitely rooting for him, and it'd be interesting to see. He definitely deserves to at least be competing for the job here in Washington. So like you said, Steph, I'm hoping they keep him close.
Yes, keep him close. Keep him close. I think it's a great problem to have.
Yeah, and what's interesting this game, right, is we're normally talking more about the defense and the defense's performance. And they just didn't have a dominating game like we're used to seeing them. And so that was a little discouraging. Tampa Bay was able to immediately answer whenever we put points on the board. They came back and they were able to do the same thing. But overall, it was a solid performance. And for me personally, gives me so much optimism for what's to come next season, because we have such a young team, and this really was a learning season for everyone.
Yeah, I agree. When we said, we're normally talking about the defense, this was a great opportunity for them. We said win or learn, not win or lose. I think that they learned what it was like to play up against a good offense. Chase wasn't making the same plays that he usually makes. And so I'm thinking they learned a lot from this game. Steelers were great, but I still feel like this is the playoffs. And so again, if we're going to learn anything from this, it's what we need to do to play teams like this and make it to the Super Bowl instead.
Yes, I love that Super Bowl talk already. I'm loving it. Let's do it.
Gotta do it. That's what we do around Washington.
Manifest. It's the beginning of the new year. You got to write that down in your journal. We'll put it on our vision board. We're manifesting. But yeah, I love that. And it's so true. We usually have, we trust when our defense is on the field. And unfortunately, this was a really good measuring stick. We played against Tom Brady, one of the greatest of all times, in a playoff game. And it really was a good learning and measuring situation. And also, if you're mourning the season coming to an end like me, I will give a little plug to the Washington football team's website. There's a video library, and you can see all of the player exits interviews. So the players got a chance, some of the players got a chance to meet with the media and talk about the season and talk about what's next. Spent a good afternoon kind of going through those and got me really excited for next year. But one thing that I loved is Bostic. I think Logan Thomas even talked about it, but John Bostic said, we want to go to the top of the mountain. We aren't satisfied. We just had a taste of it. We understand that we have to work harder. And they don't think that there's anyone more fitting or better to lead them to the top of that mountain than Coach Ron Rivera. And you could just feel the love and the excitement in all of those interviews. So, I totally agree. This was a win or learn, and that is definitely what this season has been. So it just gets me super excited for what's next.
I just want to plug Sheriff too, because he's one of our Pro Bowlers. He said, I started here. I want to stay here. He loves that we're building something. So I thought that was great. One of our Pro Bowlers saying, I want to be here. I can't miss this. And I've been here for 6 years. Keep me around, Coach.
Yeah. And then of course, Chase Young, he, mentioned exactly what you were talking about, Jade, with the team, the unity. And we've been talking about how they are growing as a team, a unit together. And we love seeing that. He just talked about having love for the game, love for one another, and that they played with passion. And yeah, it didn't go the way that they wanted, but they have something to build on. So that's really exciting, again, to just the outlook for next season.
Also, I'm gonna give my one more little Chase Young moment from his exit interview is of course, everyone's like, oh, you said you wanted Brady. What happened with that? Why did you go up to Tom Brady after the game? And Chase Young's rebuttal or response to it was, I'm the number 2 pick overall. You should be more concerned if I'm not going and talking to the best, one of the best players of all time. Like, I want to experience greatness. I want to congratulate greatness. And I just loved hearing that. And speaking of Chase Young, we are thrilled to have Mama Carla. We have Chase Young's mother joining the WOW next week. I hear she's a character. I can't wait to get her thoughts on the season, to hear how she thinks her son did in his outbreak rookie season. So make sure you tune into next week's WOW. Send us questions that you have for her, for Chase. We're definitely going to do our best to get them answered right here. Also, we got to catch up with Terry McLaurin and ask what advice he would have told his younger self. So check that out.
I tell my younger self, take things day by day. You can't control every moment. You can't even, you can be one of the most prepared people in the world, and life still happens. In my line of work, there's injuries, there's ups, there's downs, there's wins, there's losses, there's good games, there's bad games. And I just would tell myself, just take things day by day, take them as they come. Because when you could look at things in totality, it could be overwhelming. Some of the adversities we go through as people, but one thing that I've learned this season and over my first 2 years in the NFL is just taking things day by day. Lean on the people that you can trust, lean on those veterans, lean on your family and your friends, and just take a breather, and just try to enjoy the moment. So that's what I would tell my younger self.
Has your business been affected by COVID-19? Have you considered reducing or moving your office space? Then it's time to call Victory Van. We provide the best service and price with flexible options for your company's moving and storage needs. Visit victoryvan.com to get your free moving and storage quote today. For corporate storage and moving, it's always the right move to choose Victory Van. That's victoryvan.com, Victory Van Corporation, delivering excellence for 75 years and proud partner of the Washington football team.
Finch Services Incorporated, recognized in its industry as a world-class organization, is the exclusive supplier of John Deere golf and sports turf maintenance equipment for the Mid-Atlantic region. In business since 1945, Finch helps golf course and sports turf managers maintain some of the most exclusive playing surfaces in the region. Experience the Finch advantage for yourself. Contact one of our golf and sports turf sales specialists to see how we can help you maintain your field of dreams. Go to finchturf.com for more information.
At RTS, game day strategy doesn't stop when the whistle blows. RTS delivers smarter, more responsible waste and recycling services. As an official partner of the Washington football team, RTS is connecting the team and FedEx Field with sustainable solutions to care for the community and the environment. RTS, a better waste company. Find out more at rts.com.
Welcome to the Wild Home Field, brought to you by Fresh Fine Wine. Today we are chatting with Jason Wright, the president of the Washington football team. Originally from California, Wright played 7 NFL seasons for 4 NFL teams before he walked away to get his MBA in operations and finance from the University of Chicago's Booth School of Business. He then became a partner for the management consulting firm McKinsey & Company, where he advised companies on diversity, inclusion, and organizational culture. In August, he was named team president here in Washington, a move that made him the first Black president in the NFL, as well as the youngest. Jason, welcome to the WOW.
Thank you. I'm like blushing with the intro. But
it was hard to water it down. I mean, you have so much to be proud of.
It's been a journey, but thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to be on.
Well, it's a little early, and we joked about this before we started recording, but we wanted to do a quick warm-up to break the ice a little bit before we get diving into the hard stuff. You know, we're all athletes. We got to stretch it out before.
Okay.
Yeah. This is coffee, espresso shots before we get going. But we're going to play a quick game of this or that just to loosen it up a little bit. You ready? Up for the challenge?
Yeah. Well, let's do it.
We'll start real easy. You're a California guy, so In-N-Out Burger or Shake Shack?
Oh, definitely In-N-Out Burger. Definitely In-N-Out Burger. So the best part of the In-N-Out Burger is the cheese and onion that gets stuck on the little paper, and you just eat it off the paper. I mean, it's so good. In-N-Out
I've
Burger.
never had one, so.
I have to agree. I have had my share from going to California, but I think I still might go with Shake Shack, but that's probably because I've just had more of those. So we'll see. Okay, here's your next one. Coffee or tea?
Oh, tea. I'm very much a tea person. We have one of the more expansive collections of tea here at the house, me and my wife, than you've ever seen. Yeah, we are tea drinkers all day. And I've got a specific orange pico tea from India. That's my caffeine get up every day.
Okay. We'll have to tell Jamila because she's a tea girl too.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, I'm going to go into football. So go for it on 4th and 1 or punt it away.
Oh, depends on where you are in the field. I'm an analysis guy. And so, you know, if I were a coach, I would always, I'm more likely to go for it because I think the stats say that you're actually statistically better off going for 4th and 1 in most cases.
Okay.
So, you know, and Riverboat Brown's going to go for it. So I'm on board.
Exactly.
You know what? And that's one of the things I absolutely loved about you when you first came on board with the Washington football team. You are so about the data. So once again, you bring it back to the data.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, here we go. Date night out or date night in?
Oh, well, here's the difficulty on this one. My wife would like to date night in. I would like to date night out. So we compromise. We compromise. Right now it's date night in. So she's winning every time. But in general, we go to a nice restaurant, low-key, quiet night together, maybe a walk if it's nice out. If I had it my way, we'd be out dancing till 2 a.m. But that's
Ladies, I called it. I'm just going to say when we were talking about this, I said, no, I think he's a date night out kind of guy.
Yeah, I like to kick it. Mm-hmm.
All right, you passed. You made it through the
I
one.
did it. Yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Okay, good.
You didn't ask me about team name or anything like that, so I can breathe again. I can breathe again.
All right, let's shift gears here and let's talk about something that you've talked about 1,000 times, I'm sure. But we want to talk about the decision to come to Washington. Why did you feel like you were up for that challenge? And also, now that you've been here for what have you learned most about yourself and about this role?
Yes, I love, it's so funny. Everybody thinks I've been here longer than I have, but it seems like longer. Because there's a lot of stuff we've been doing. And I also think we're trying to be more visible as an organization than we have in the past. It was like, oh, this man been around a long time. That said, the reason I took this on, it was a unique opportunity to blend, who I was as a football player with who I had become as an analytic thinker and business leader and change agent. And as you all know, when your background as an athlete comes together with something else you're passionate about, for you all, the ability to communicate, media, et cetera, it's hard to pass that up, despite what it might seem from the outside is a daunting challenge or have a bunch of complexities or whatever it is. But it also, for me, once I dug under the surface and talked to Dan and Tanya and talked to Coach, it was clear that everybody was on board for change. That this was a moment where everybody was committed, that there would be nothing standing in my way. I would have the autonomy to do what I needed to do to build the team that we need here in order to execute well. And so once I knew that we had that leeway to be creative, innovative, and own this, I was very much on board. Now, has it been hard? Yes. Have we had to make really tough decisions? Yes. And will that continue for some time? Yeah, I think so. I think so. But I have enjoyed every second of it because I feel fully empowered to do what me and the leadership team need to do to accelerate us to the next level.
I love how you said change agent. I've been a first lady of football and now part of the WOW for 6 years and been around Washington football team for quite a bit. And I can tell you, you are definitely changing.
Okay, thank you.
Ton of change. I can just feel it at practice and just feel it when you walk into FedEx. And so personally, thank you for coming here.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah, ditto that. And that's probably why it seems like, or people assume that you've been here longer, because there has been so much positive change. And you kind of touched on this as far as it being the perfect storm of being able to take, you know, your experience in athletics and then the business side of your mind and really bring them together to be successful here. Why do you think that is so successful, that you were, you know, a former football player to really help you bring that element in? Why is that such, you know, a motivating part and such an integral part of you being able to be successful?
I think there's a few things where it comes. It's a really good question. I think one of them is understanding the football culture and how a football team operates, you know, from the inside. Understanding, for example, what players need to prepare heading into a game day on the weekend. You know, it means that in my opinion, from Wednesday onward, you need nothing but the playbook, videotape, rest, care for your body, fill in the blank. You don't need to be doing a bunch of commercials or visits with sponsors or even really important charitable work. And so for me on the business side, I recognize there are other ways that we can make that happen, using alumni, other things to get that work done so that the players can be fully dedicated to their craft, still have a little bit of time with their families in season and make it better on coaching the players. You know, when I think about the practice fields, we're making a big investment in our practice fields up at Innova Sports Performance Center. And the reason is when Coach and Rob Rogers, the head of football operations, took me around, it was immediately obvious to me that we didn't have the right drainage, that you couldn't practice at full speed, that your footing wouldn't be there. It's like, yeah, it's worth a multi-million-dollar investment here to do that, because it's going to benefit our players from a health and performance standpoint going forward. So there are things directly from my experience as a player that help, but I think more so it's about it's understanding some things that you all as former athletes get too. That is the ability to thrive under pressure. When the gaze is on you, you don't clam up, you don't get nervous. You know, well, you might get nervous, but you know how to work through those nerves, step up and deliver in that moment. Take the attention to detail, all of that stuff. And I think that's one thing that is becoming a unifying aspect of the business and football sides, with Coach and I working so closely together. And there are many others as well, but those are the two that really pop to mind right away.
What does it mean to you to have a man like Ron Rivera not only leading this team on the field, but leading this franchise off the field as well?
He is really a remarkable person. Like, I know everybody, it's like almost, you feel like you have to say that about a person that's been in the league so long and that, you know, has integrity and is, shown good performance and stuff, but he really is. These are not platitudes. I'll give you a couple things, behind the scenes that should give fans and everybody confidence in the direction we're going. Day in, day out, Coach is most focused on the individual behaviors of his coaches and players, in how they're preparing, in how they're practicing with effort, in how they're learning and dedicating themselves as students of the game, and how they're treating one another. And you might say, oh, okay, yeah, well, I need, more, completions on the sideline. Yes, but what you have to realize is that those fundamentals are building the long-term foundation on which you can win year after year after year by setting a standard for what kind of guy comes into the building and is on this team, for what kind of coach has the privilege of leading the men on the roster, for building a coaching staff and scouting staff that work collaboratively and collegiately with one another, that themselves lead the pack on diversity. It is really remarkable what he is trying to build. He is establishing a culture in a way that even as a consultant, I didn't have frameworks for what he's doing. He's doing something intuitive and powerful, and I'm just trying to get on board.
Yeah, it's exciting. We're all trying to get on board. He definitely is building this culture of excellence, and it's going to ripple obviously through everyone in the organization. But the wonderful thing too is throughout the community as well, in which we serve. I feel like we could literally talk to you forever.
Yeah, we could. I mean, I have so many. Like, I wanted to ask, to me, like, what did you think when I know we were running out of time, but what did you think when you played us back in the day? What was your thoughts of the Washington football team?
Gosh, I think I only played the club once. I only remember playing the club once. When I was with the Browns, we came to Washington. We lost, actually, so you're welcome.
What's the Browns?
Yeah, exactly, right? And I don't think it was the year. Yeah, it wasn't the year we were good. So it was sort of a down year. We had a bunch of injuries. I remember walking into the stadium. I actually think London was still on the team at the time. Yeah, London was on team. I remember the scouting report. So I was playing against London because he was like the guy I had to pick up on blitz, I think. I remember walking into the stadium and seeing all the video clips of the historic moments. Doug Williams in the Super Bowl, Mark Rippon throwing touchdowns, Joe Theismann around the field, Sean Taylor making big hits. Sean Taylor had just passed a couple years before that, and I remember thinking like, oh, this franchise goes back. Like, this franchise goes back. And Cleveland had a bit of that too, but this felt different because I think in the setting of the nation's capital, that sense of history and that the magnanimity of it is bigger. And I'm now experiencing that firsthand. What I didn't realize at the time was just how passionate this fan base was. And that's another asset that is different. Like, I think I would have argued before Cleveland had the best fans. They were super devoted and super knowledgeable. I actually don't think they hold a candle to this fan base. And it's on us to learn and understand this fan base even better than we do to do right by them.
Yeah. Awesome. Love to hear that.
I want to ask you before you go, Jason. I obviously follow the President blog that you're doing and all of these transparent communication efforts. And I've seen your beautiful children. And I just want to ask, because obviously our fan base and our listeners here are mostly women, how do you balance that work, wife, family life? And what message are you hoping you're teaching your kids right now?
You know what? If my wife could hear that, she'd be like, he's not. Let me tell you about him right now. Like, this will be I'm actually just waiting for her to pop into my home office and pop off. No, it has actually been a challenge because I tend to throw myself into what I'm doing. It's that athlete mentality. Like, when I'm in it, I'm in it. But what I am finding, and I actually wrote about it a little bit this week. It's funny, you're pressing on this one, Jay. I wrote about it this week, is I realized that for me to be a good role model for our organization and for this change to last, it needs to be sustainable for me. It needs to be sustainable for our people.
And that's good too, though, right? That you are talking the talk, but then trying to walk the walk, but then admitting when you might be falling short. And again, that just is going to help build this culture of inclusion and trust and openness that we need and we deserve here. So thank you again for that honest answer.
Yeah, my pleasure. I feel like, leaders don't need to be perfect. And none of us can be. We can't actually be good at everything, and it's important to know where we are not strong and have other folks hold us accountable and make up for those weaknesses by putting people around you who have those strengths. That's why when you put people around you, when you're a yes person and you put people around you that are just going to tell you good things about you and never challenge you, you end up driving into a ditch, because then your weaknesses never get developed or never get supported. So I feel like it's on me and other leaders to be transparent about where we are not strong or where we are developing, because it's the only way we get a good outcome. So I appreciate the encouragement.
Jason, I'm going to hold you accountable for asking you to come back, because I feel like we have so much more that we want to cover, and I feel like we could just talk to you for hours. So I'm going to hopefully ask that you come back and join us here on The Well some point soon.
No problem. I'm happy to do it.
Well, before we let you go, can you plug where our listeners can find you? I know that I read your blog, as we mentioned, and I also followed you on Twitter. So anywhere.
Yeah, you find me on Twitter at whoisjwright on Twitter.
I love your bio as well on Twitter.
It's real.
Very real.
I'm a dork.
Well, thank you so much, Jason.
All right, take care now.
Thank you.
A new decade demands a new kind of wine. As consumers continue to embrace healthier lifestyles with beverages that taste great and keep in line with their dietary preferences, and wine is no exception. Fresh Vine Wine thoughtfully crafts great tasting premium wines that are low calorie, low carb, low sugar, keto, vegan friendly, and gluten free. Fresh Vine Wines pairs perfectly with your active lifestyle without sacrificing on taste. Available in select stores in DC and Maryland.
You can hear every Washington football team game on the Team 980 and streaming on the radio.com app. Listen to Team 980 every day for expert analysis, Washington football guests, and your calls along with hosts Kevin Sheehan, Washington football legend Brian Mitchell, Steve Zabin, and more on the official radio of home of the Washington football team. Download the radio.com app and favorite the Team 980 today to listen on your phone or smart speaker. This winter, be confident in a rugged all-wheel drive Honda SUV. Take control with the reliable CRV, the versatile HRV, the 8-passenger Pilot, or the adventurous Passport. With features like Honda Sensing, magic folding seats, and 3 different driving modes. Now is the best time to buy. Don't miss your chance to get a great deal on your favorite Honda SUV. See your local Honda dealer and take on winter today. We are heading into WOW overtime. I've said it and I'm going to say it again. Being a witness to Coach Ron Rivera's first season here in Washington, with all the changes, all the ups and downs, all the turn of events, it has just been encouraging, hopeful, and just all around fun. It has been fun. I don't know how long it's been since I felt that way watching a game. I was just like, give me everything, give it all to me. I was just sad to see it come to an end, because it was just such a fun ride. And with the Washington football season coming to an end, we thought we'd have a little bit of fun and hand out some superlatives.
Yeah, so I love doing this. At the end of every First Lady of Football season, we would do this. And it's just a lot of fun to reflect on the year. And like you said, have a lot of fun with it. So I'm going to just put out some superlatives and would love you all's input on these. No right or wrong answers. So best hype man.
We talk about him all the time, so I'm sure we're going to agree. But Chase Young, he's amazing to watch on the sidelines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love his energy. We've all seen it when he's, he was really hyping up Taylor Heineke. The memes and the videos of him doing Heineke are like, I love it. We joke about it. I joked about it with Julie, but I need like a recording of Chase Young to just in the morning. I need to play it as my words of affirmation to get me hyped for the day. But Chase Young,
Yeah, and I mean, just like that, I want to keep going, but just like Stephanie mentioned earlier, the fact that he ran over to Heineke after that touchdown to basically hype up like America, to be like, this is my quarterback.
Yeah, that's my man. He's got swag. He's got swag.
And that in and of itself was a huge celebration after, that big touchdown. But overall for the season, best celebration, who does it go to?
Oh. Well, I know when we were talking about this before, my sons were actually mimicking what J.D. McKissick did on the sidelines when he got his touchdown. So I say J.D. McKissick only because then my kids started doing that Sunday at flag football.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going with J.D. McKissick doing the Conor McGregor. Loved it.
All right. So this might be a hard one because I feel like we have a lot of people that really stood out and stepped up. But breakout player on the offense.
I don't know, Jade. You want to go first because I'm torn.
I'm torn too, but I'm torn between a Bama boy, Cam Sims. I think just seeing his story for being on the practice squad and finally getting a chance and just seeing, by far not a perfect season, but he had some really good moments. And I also think Logan Thomas. I mean, what a steal and what a pickup we had with him. I mean, he is just that boy can ball out. He is a versatile player.
Yeah, his height is just always like he's just making these catches because the height just gives him everything. I mean, but I also, this is a new one that just popped in here. Obviously, Taylor Heineke. He was the NFL's second highest graded defensive player from the playoff game, just after the tight end from the Colts, Jack Doyle, and above Tom Brady. So
yes.
He does.
All right, so let's go to the other side of the football. Breakout player on defense.
Well, just because, we work with Fred all the time, I'm going to, go with his dog, Montez Sweat. I was impressed. He got the sack. Brady was his 10th sack of the season. So it just kind of shows you his season was consistent. And it wasn't just the end of the year. He worked hard all year. So he's my vote.
I'm with you. I definitely agree. Sweat had a breakout year, but also Cam Curl. I mean, we needed someone to step up in that safety position, and he's a rookie, and he had a great season.
Yeah, definitely. And even Chase Young, right? I mean, they were talking about like how as a rookie, being a captain, being such a huge leader. So yeah, defense is just amazing this season. Okay, so best catch.
Oh, I'm going with my boy again, Cam Sims. I believe in the Steelers, he had the one-handed one, and then he also used his calves and caught the ball. So I'm going Cam Sims.
Yeah, I think I agree, but Logan had some amazing catches, like I mentioned earlier. And just a sidebar, I know he threw it to McLaurin, but that little random throw he did McLaurin where he saw him downfield and we got further downfield. That was awesome. So it's like a catch throw, but you know what I mean.
The Wildcat, yeah.
Wildcat, yeah.
Yeah. Best Wildcat, Logan Thomas. Got it.
All right. Oh, perfect. Okay. How about best leader?
I'll start. I'm gonna go.
I know, a hard one.
Yeah.
I think there's plenty, but there's two that really stick out. And for me, Coach Ron Rivera, I hype him up this whole season, but he is just remarkable. He's a remarkable leader, remarkable person, fighter, everything that he went through on the field as well as off the field, and fighting cancer for his life, and just leading this team and this organization in general, just leading all of us into the mountaintop, like John Bostic said. And I just think he is someone that I really look up to and definitely a leader.
I love that. Pierre Lewis, he played for Kansas City and the Seahawks, I believe. So he's seen great teams. He even said, I think Coach Rivera is doing everything he can to create a clear standard. Can we say that standard for this organization? And he's happy about being here to witness it. But the other one that I know you're going to say is Alex Smith, because as a leader, right, you lead by example. I mean, his journey that we've discussed, and of course Coach Rivera has had his own difficult journey and showed up to work every day and did what he needed to do, but Alex Smith and his journey to get better, get on that field, and yet still mentor other people. You could see the way he kind of worked with Heineke and the demeanor they had together on the field. So leading by example and being just a ray of positive light, Alex Smith is it too for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, most definitely.
They play better when number 11's on the field. I think Terry said it. He's like, I trust when number 11's in the game. So it speaks volumes.
Yeah, and so then you have like the leaders, right, on the football side, and then we spoke to one everyone heard from in our second quarter here of the show, but on the business side of things with Jason Wright, like truly stepping up and being an amazing leader, and just with all of them coming together and recreating and building an amazing culture, and this idea of one team is absolutely amazing, and it's great to be a part of. It's absolutely amazing to be a part of. So last one, kind of a little different, but best NFL social media team.
That would be us.
Yes. Showing my shirt. Yeah, best dress should have been me and Janine today for having our.
I know. I was like,
we're on the same wavelength with our wardrobe. Called it. We should have texted you, Stephanie. But obviously, best social media team.
I almost went and changed.
Best social media team, obviously, and they should have been. They were deserving. Let me start that over. They were deserving, and I am so happy that they were recognized as the Washington football social media team for all that they've done, and they were recognized for that. It was just fun to follow their accounts.
Yes, and I mean, I'll be honest, it didn't used to be like that. So kudos to the bravery in, listening, like just kind of putting your ear to the ground and saying, what do people love to listen to? What gets people involved? I mean, that's the whole idea of social media. We want you involved. We don't want to just talk at you and post randomly days of the week. We want you to get involved. So I think that, yay, I'm proud.
Yeah, congratulations to them. And posts that people want to reshare as well. Like I was always sharing something back to my story or my feed. So, again, congratulations to the social media team. They were awarded best social media team in the NFL. So congrats.
And congrats for posting everything that we are thinking and saying as fans. So it's just fun to see it. And I also, before we wrap up our superlatives, I want to give another shout out and kudos to the Watch football team staff and personnel, just keeping the players and coaches and staff safe during this crazy time. I believe the Watch football team was one of the lowest teams as far as COVID cases. So just job well done to the staff in Ashburn, and also to the players for buying in and protecting each other and doing what they needed to do all season long.
Absolutely.
That was fun. I'm sure we're going to have plenty more superlatives in the off season, and definitely a lot to talk about as we continue to climb that mountain with Coach Ron Rivera. That's going to do it for us. Thanks for joining the WOW, where we connect and empower women through sports, brought to you by our wonderful partners, Fresh Fine Wine. Don't forget, next week we have a chance to talk with Chase Young's mom, Mama Carla. So make sure you send us your questions, and we're going to have those answered here on Home Field. That'll do it. Until next time.
For more than 100 years, Chesapeake Employers Insurance has been helping Maryland businesses keep their workers safe. With competitive pricing and an AM Best A- financial strength rating, it's no surprise that Chesapeake Employers is Maryland's largest writer of workers' comp insurance.
At the end of every workday, someone's waiting for your safe return.
Connect with your agent or visit CEIWC.com.
Reliable power from Novec keeps us connected to so many good things. Life-saving equipment and life-affirming moments depend on reliable, safe electricity that keeps us plugged in and powered up. And as a not-for-profit cooperative owned by the people it serves, Novec keeps rates low and service high. Novec, keeping life bright.
Hey, Mid-Atlantic, it's me, Winter. Just a heads up, I'm gonna ice and snow all week, but if you're driving a Honda, you'll be fine. And right now, your local Honda dealer has big deals on the entire all-wheel drive Honda lineup. CR-V, HR-V, Pilot, Passport, and more. With real-time all-wheel drive and all the safety features included with Honda Sensing, like a collision mitigation braking system and adaptive cruise control. Oh, and don't forget to turn on your heated seats. It's gonna get cold. Sorry. See your local Honda dealer today.
You start your day with a multivitamin. You get to work and you multitask. You eat a sandwich on multigrain. But maybe there's one multi that you've been missing. Play Multi-Match from the Maryland Lottery. It's an exciting draw game where jackpots start at $500,000 and grow from there. Plus, you get 4 chances to win. And Multi-Match is only played in Maryland. Drawings are every Monday and Thursday. So go ahead, give Multi-Match a try and watch your fun multiply. Please play responsibly.
Not in this Pepsi either. Maybe I need to set the mood.
What is Jim doing?
He heard each can of Pepsi unlocks a Super Bowl halftime experience, so he's been opening Pepsi cans all morning trying to find it.
Shouldn't you tell him he has to, scan the can?
Nah, I'm sure he'll catch on.
No halftime experiences in this one either?
Or not. Scan the can and tune in to CBS on February 7th to catch the Pepsi Super Bowl 55 halftime show.